Hi, welcome back to Winchester Ranch Sunday brunch, and I'm joined today by Cheyenne Promise. And if I just, there she is. We've taken her Darth Vader mask off today because there's quite a bit of wind, so the flies shouldn't irritate her too much. She does suffer with a little bit of sweet itch, and the fly mask has been a long journey because she's a horse that doesn't like any fuss whatsoever. She hates a lot of mithering, so if anything is happening to her that needs treating, she gets very fed up. And so it's been a while getting her used to the fly mask. This is the first year that we've managed to have the fly mask on her from the beginning. And it's a strange phenomenon because, and I was talking to my barefoot trimmer about this, with the mask on, her sweet itch is much less. It's almost like the habit of her rubbing and scratching her face doesn't actually get to the rest of her body as much. She still suffers and she still needs some relief from it, but in much smaller way than, say, the last couple of years. She is our matriarch, very stoic, and I call her the Duchess because she is regal without pretense, if you like. You often find her stood alone, watching out. Our land is up a mountainside and terraced, so she has views from various vantage points, and particularly when the forest is open. If I just turn around, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see because it rolls way up there, and you often find her up there alone but standing out and staring, and that's been her way since she arrived. The day she arrived, I had to walk her 3 kilometers in the dark, took her off the wagon, and she was wonderful, really. Couldn't see a thing. It was one of those pitch black nights. Neil, my partner, was behind us with the car to light our way, and she just had this sense of, okay, this is happening. This is what's going to happen, and we managed to get to where we were going to put her in a safe place that night. So yeah, she's really, like I say, quite stoic, quite content in her own self. Even though now, obviously with the baby, there's a slight change in dynamic. Chinook's always been able to sort of move her, but the moment that there has been anything that might worry them, maybe a dog barking or the wind, she would run to Promise for comfort, and Promise would give it to her, which was lovely. I've just moved because of the sun. So yeah, she's always been quite self-sufficient, if you like. But one of the things I want to touch on today is equine depression. And I don't think equine depression is the same as a horse that is shut down. A horse that is shut down, and I deal with many shut down horses in my professional career, are long term. They're usually something that has happened over time and they've shut down quite deeply, and it's a case of unlocking. Whereas I think depression, this is just my view, this is just my observation with Promise, is more short term and more a case of finding her new place in what is going on here. Now, you've heard me talk a lot about, I think, having one foal is poor foal management, and I absolutely believe that. But I also think in a breeding program like we've got here, although very small at the moment, to have a mare, a brood mare, without foal and the other mare with foal has also had a huge impact, particularly on Promise. She's found it difficult that in the beginning she was alone, because obviously I took the decision to make a safe space for mother and baby to birth and to spend the first few weeks. So she found that really difficult. And then when we opened up the area, she was really not interested in the baby or Chinook or anybody. And she started to have appetitive behaviors. So pawing the ground or rubbing her face much more than normal, and becoming habitual, if you like. And this for me was an indication that she was actually depressed rather than shut down, because as soon as you come in, you know, she's herself with me, but there was certainly something off with her. To deal with that, I've gone into a big rabbit hole with this equine depression. And to deal with that and to work things through has been quite a study over the last couple of months. One of them obviously is to make sure that she is involved. And like today, we've been on a hike. That's her now. If I just turn around, you'll see her. Can you see her? There she is. So today we've been on a hike, just her and me, so she can forage and be independent of the baby and Chinook and have some alone time, because that's what she likes. That has actually been a huge benefit to her and her mental health. And now she is interacting with the baby. And the other day, for the first time when I was in here, the baby was with me, and Chinook and Promise were together, head to tail, you know, sharing tails, if you like, for the flies. So things are on the up. The other thing that happened was, and this is a learning curve for me, I mean, we're all learning every day, and one of the huge lessons that I've learned is that even though a mare doesn't come into season and spent 10 days with a stallion and is tested positive for pregnancy within the first month, it makes sense to do it again after about 4 months, because she did slip her foal. And I think the whole experience for her, one, she was completely in love with Champagne High, our stallion. It was a love affair. So removing her from him was difficult for her. And losing her foal was difficult for her. Seeing Chinook being a mother is difficult for her. And you might say that this sounds like I'm putting human emotions on to her. I'm not. This is how she reacted within her little herd and what was going on here. So I have some management decisions to make and learnings to take on board, and which is fascinating. I wouldn't wish equine depression, which is what I'm calling it for now, on anybody, on horse or human. It is very difficult to watch, and it's very difficult to experience. And as they're non-verbal, and it is an emotion that is very quiet, reading it takes a lot of energy and a lot of observation. And I've spent many hours with her observing and seeing when she does this appetitive behavior, like I say, and working through that with exercises and time and giving her the space that she needs, like holding space with her, working on some Masterson's method to give her some relaxation and some time. So although I wouldn't, like I say, wish it on anybody, you have to take the positives. You have to see the silver lining, I think, in all experiences. Otherwise, you're not growing. And for me, to experience this firsthand, as much as I've read and studied it in the past, to actually experience it was humbling, a little bit depressing for me, as an equine coach, as a mentor in behavior and relationships and the emotional side of people's equine journey being the fore of my coaching. It was hard to experience, but on the other hand, she's given me some lessons that I will take on board and work with for the rest of my equine career. So I hope for many years to come. Like I say, I'm doing a big study on this and a big research and we will be putting all my thoughts and experiences down in a series of essays which you will be able to find over on our Patreon page, Rewild Your Horse Spirit, and I'll put the link below here if you're interested. You can then discover with me a lot more detail on this subject and many other subjects as well. And in addition, if you do that, you're obviously supporting our mission here to bring the colonial Spanish Mustangs back to Spain, a revival of the breed here. So that is what we're doing. And yeah, all three of them now are settled, and she's a lot better, which is great news. But like I say, it's been a difficult 2 or 3 months with her emotionally, for me emotionally, and with everything else going on. It's been a lesson of observation and time, as everything is. It's that balance. So I'm going to leave you with that today, and if I just come up here, hopefully it's not going to be too sunny. You can see all three of them as well. Chinook is snoozing, and I'm going to, I can't see that because of the sun, so I hope you get to see them. And I'm going to carry on with my usual morning task, which is shit shoveling. So take care everybody, and have a wonderful Sunday. Bye for now.